No. 701 Town of Granby Conservation Commission, Tuesday, April 24th, 2018, 7 p.m. at the Carnegie Library. First on the agenda, 7 o'clock, Building and Board of Health applications. Anybody here for a building permit? All right, who signed in first, please?
Well, Rob's coming back to get signed. We approved it last week. We just haven't signed.
Pool?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have a permit, right? Yeah. Oh, great. We already approved it. We just...
So this is that Ingram pool?
Yes.
83 Morgan Street, yep. Everybody remember this? 83 Morgan Street? Pool on the grass. I made a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, it has been approved.
Approved.
Pool 83 Morgan.
I signed it because I wasn't here for that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure who signs and.
Were you here?
I actually have a question. This gentleman might be able to answer. On Morgan Street, there was a excavator way out in the field. Do you know whose that was? You saw
No,
that.
that has to do with that house that we approved, I think. There's another house we approved there, I think.
How far are you from the corner of East and Pleasant? 500 feet, 300 feet, 100 feet?
He's not in Riverfront, right?
That's something else we can discuss later.
Yeah,
If that's.
Yeah.
something to do with that.
All right, because I just thought it might be his equipment, apparently it isn't. Okay, it's not your equipment, okay.
You want to initial the application done?
yeah, you got initial, all right.
Amanda, you were here.
I was here.
I wasn't, so I can't.
Amanda? You're all set. Oh, yes, too. Thanks. Next on the agenda.
Eric?
Hi.
Hello.
And how do you spell your last name?
Levesque, L-E-V-E-S.
Installing the pool.
Yeah.
Low property location.
It is 16 Kendall Street.
16 Kendall. Get a chance to pull that up on GIS real quick, please.
Sorry, I hit, somehow I selected everything and made it blue.
Is that near Dufresne's entrance?
There it
That's
is.
a great question. I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, okay, all right, so you're just coming in for the permit then, okay. Where is
So
that?
it's this property, right?
At 16 Kendall.
Yeah.
Saying it's this park, that entrance?
Yes,
It's a little bit down the road on the left when I was in the back.
oh, okay. Is it north of the Kendall Street entrance or south?
Zoom out, Amanda. It's just down south of 202.
Or it's north, it's north of the entrance.
So that's where the brook is, right?
There's a brook there,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
we'll
the
see where
brook.
the brook is now.
Is it above ground or in ground?
In ground swimming pool.
Is it going on grass, existing grass, or are you?
Well, they're probably,
Do you know if it's going on existing lawn?
It is going on existing lawn. There's no tree removal or into wood like that.
is it, that's
so-
perennial, right? I don't know
Yeah,
if-
it's Ingram Brook, it is. Sir, with respect to the house, where approximately would the pool be located? Thank you, if you can walk up there.
Yep. Play this area here.
Okay.
He has to sketch that here.
Oh,
just behind the house.
Have you checked to see if it's feasible to put one in there?
I have, I just came from there.
Okay, so you've dug down 10 feet? Or how
Oh,
deep's
you're saying
the?
feasible to put into the ground?
Yes,
I have not dug down.
you're, yeah, okay. Because what happens when you hit water at 3
the
feet?
water table's pretty high.
Water, it's really a few ways of how you expect us to deal with it.
Okay.
Some towns have wanted us to dig it all the way away and then set a pump into the pool and put it into that hole, which is covered with, silk fabric and then stone. Or some other towns are okay with us running the hose right into the woods area and just letting it all.
That's all big
That's
wetland.
It's.
Yeah, the groundwater, we still don't want them to,
Which one?
No, it's just groundwater.
Or
Yeah.
some people were having us to bring it right to the road.
18,
And let the stone drains take care of it.
do you have any storm drains there?
No, no.
Because that's probably within 200
Put in
feet
a
of
silt fence
riverfront.
in too? Does that represent a silt
It
fence?
does, yeah.
So do we want him discharging water into the riverfront?
It's groundwater.
Yeah, but you don't want silt and stuff going in.
Amanda, could you call up that map again, please?
Any water that we pump, it's not like a muck pump. So it is encased with stone
Okay.
and clean water is being discharged
Yeah.
from that pump.
Could you get a distance from the edge of the house to the wetland at Ingram Brook? Yeah, I can't see the river on that.
What's that distance?
193,
How much?
193 feet.
Oh, so you're probably in the riverfront then. But you're in the outer riparian, you're in the
Plus it's on
100
the
to
grass.
200 feet. Yeah,
Right.
and it's, yeah, it's in an
But I think
existing-
we,
I think it's all right.
but we still need to, I think, discuss what he should do with the water.
Do you know for sure you're gonna have to dewater the site?
I do not know for sure, no.
When you go to the building department, do you usually discuss that with the building inspector?
Where to discharge water?
Or the design criteria? And how sophisticated a design do you prepare for the homeowner? Do you give them cross sections or anything? Not- You just kind of put the pool in there.
So you said sometimes you can put in like a sump where the water,
Some towns have required us to dig maybe 3 feet down, put silk fabric in,
From the
and
corner
then
of the
some
house.
stone,
It's a stream,
and then just
so that's
discharge
like
into
riverbank.
that, so dry well.
So how long would you be running the pump? Just during construction until you get the pool filled with water? Okay.
Probably a total of 5 days.
Okay. You know what I would recommend? Have them discharge it near the road. That's probably the best bet. That's my opinion. Whatever you guys think. But that's my opinion. That way you get it out of the riverfront.
Could be quite a lot of water, could be.
Oh, of course, if he's running 10 gallons a minute, it's gonna be a fair amount of water, of course. But I guess just like somebody discharging their sump pump in their basement this time of year. Unless you wanna let them
Are
go.
there
in-
like bylaws changing with that because of the new stormwater?
Well, it's better than going in the wetland. You can't really discharge it into the storm, into the resource area without a permit. I'm just trying to have him avoid doing a permit.
Yeah, or let them dig a hole and then discharge into the stone.
You could do that
And
too.
pull out.
You could do that. Again, I wouldn't want him to get it too close to the house, then you end up filling up
Yeah,
the,
septic system.
yeah,
Right.
that's right, that's
Do you
do you
why.
know where your septic is?
He's
in
got,
that
he
house?
has it mapped out.
So,
It's mapped out on,
all right, so where is it in relation to the pool?
to the north. Septic is to the north.
This-
Tank, fields.
Yeah, so you don't wanna go there,
You can't go there either.
right? I think the best route is near the highway.
Dave might have something to say about that.
Yeah,
Well, touch base with the highway chief, Dave DeRocher. His number is 467-7575.
You like me to call them?
Yeah, if you would,
Sure.
you would. During business hours,
Sure.
that'd be good.
What's the area code?
413-467-7575. 7575.
His first name is?
David.
So, I don't know, do we need a RDA or anything?
Well, if Dave lets him do it near the road, we don't need anything. That's the whole
Okay.
point of doing
Yeah.
this.
Then he'll be out of the 200 feet.
Right. That's
Are you
exactly
against
right.
us digging dry well front yard here?
Your next, well, the septic system.
It's at your peril. It's at your peril.
Tank is here,
Yeah, and the fields are just back.
or further back here, so I'm speaking more front yard issue.
It's at your peril.
It's your call. I don't see an issue with the pool. It's out, it's being put in a grass area. We're not here to.
Well, the pool's not an issue, it's
Pool's
just
not
to
an issue.
discharge the water.
Well, yeah, I don't think we want that discharged, because he may hit water a foot or 2 feet. You know, he could be running pumps for
Well, we just
days.
had a few days, which isn't that bad.
From when we dig the pool to when we set liner, where we no longer need a pump, is by total 5 days.
Even when you run into huge groundwater.
Yes. Because we get it all under control that first dig day, that
Mhm.
initial day.
Well, we can talk to the building inspector. Let the building inspector.
Yeah, I'd approve it conditional to Mr. Giuliano, that's your name, Giuliano?
Levesque.
Or Mr. Levesque, okay, working with Dave DeRocher on this.
So we are suggesting he get paperwork.
Well, no, just to communicate with Dave DeRocher, Highway
Okay.
Chief.
We'll have some communication with them.
Yeah, he'll give you some direction as to the acceptability of discharging near the
Who
highway.
do we want him to email so we know?
And
what's
for
going
some
on?
reason, if you can't, you can call myself or Ed or Amanda, and we'll come up with another game plan.
Do you have,
I'll call Dave tomorrow
That is fine.
and just let him know as soon as we contact the nurse or pool and final discharge, potentially in Kendall Street.
do you have Kathy Leonard's phone number?
I don't,
Is that how you knew to come through here, or the building inspector told you to come here?
we have a permit that takes care of all this, and she says we have these,
Okay.
the superintendent of construction, so.
Okay,
She just gets it all going, hands you paperwork.
okay.
So you guys want to make a motion?
Proves it's discharged today.
I make a motion to approve the pool long as Dave has no problem with discharge near the road and it's not within, not into the road.
That's what I had said, yeah, subject to communication and approval of Highway
Okay,
Chief.
so approve, okay, motion to approve
So once I
subject.
contact him, I will call, I can write down the number of who, I'm sure.
Do you have the regular permit?
You guys, you don't have a building permit, do you?
I don't believe it.
Oh, there it is.
So is there a motion on the table to approve?
So is that can I clarify a motion to approve subject to the approval of the location of discharge from Dave from the highway department? Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, you're all set, sir.
After this talk, I think it would be more like an in-office sign-off or another meeting to go past it.
I think unless we hear from in the contrary from Dave DeRoche, you're good to go.
16 Kendall?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So for some reason, if Dave and Ed or Dave calls me and says, you really can't do this, actually, why don't you give Amanda your phone number if we have to get a hold of you?
860-977-9774.
That's good, that's an easy way to handle it.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Made a note on there for the building inspector that you were going to contact Dave at DPW to discuss the discharge.
Okay, I think Amanda has to sign it, Patty.
Right, and he's not on vacation or anything?
No, he's real good to get a hold of.
Great.
Try him, if you can, try him around 7 o'clock in the morning. So we're good furniture.
Probably you're up and
Yeah,
moving.
you're up. Thank you, thanks for coming in.
Building
Bye-bye.
permit.
Next is.
We have Robert. Tom, is that Tom for 16 Pine Brook? Or that's Mass DOT?
Pine Brook,
Yes.
Okay.
what's the address?
16,
16 Pine Brook. So is this for?
replacing a pool.
Placement, the exact same spot?
Yep, exact same spot.
That makes it easy.
Yeah, I got destroyed a couple of years ago over the winter and finally replaced it.
Did expanding ice
See anything?
fail it? You didn't
It's
take
underneath
any,
the
you
canopy.
didn't take any precautions?
No, I just was
For
looking
ice
for
expansion?
wetlands.
Oh, that-
Nothing came up anywhere.
Plus he's
so.
replacing it, so I'll make a motion to approve a pool replacement at 16 Pine Brook. Above ground, I guess the same diameter,
So the exact same, well, not exact same,
but yeah, diameter wise.
I second.
All in favor?
Hi.
There any other building permits?
And thank you for filling out the top. You're the first person who came in with the top filled out.
Yeah, sorry. Just speedy typing.
Anybody else here for building permits?
All right, thank you.
All the best, good
Why
luck.
don't you come and sign in, please?
Oh, Teresa, right? Yeah. Okay, yep.
Okay.
Yep, she's next.
For 8 School Street, it's just to replace an existing pool in the same spot, same
It's
way.
that time of year, right?
Yeah, well, mine,
What's the address?
8 School Street,
Now, why did yours fail?
it just was old and had it's like 30 years old,
Yeah.
time ago.
Right there?
Right in there. Right?
Yep.
Does that look like you? Okay.
That is for a pool replacement. Make a motion to approve for placement of an existing pool with a new pool, same location.
I second.
All in
All
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh. We aim to please.
All right.
Anybody else here for building permits?
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
7:19, go on to administrative duties. Commentary?
Well, we've got 5 members here tonight. Good to see. First time we've had 5 in some time.
Yeah.
And
Very good.
Amanda was saying that the list online is not accurate.
Yeah.
So we need to
Some guy.
get Kathy
We've done
of
that.
that.
We've sent emails in the past or requested.
That will get taken
It's
care
not
of in
the
due
issue.
time. Yeah.
So, post the next meeting for May 8th, 2018.
And that is the correct date.
Yes, I'm checking right now. It
Like
is
7th.
7th Tuesday in May. Posted? Minutes for April 10th, 2018.
Do that.
Alright, so we're going to 10?
Yep, it should be the normal process.
Nope.
I think it's Control F7.
Oh, no, she's not plugged in.
Oh, okay.
She's looking for the right one.
Okay.
No signal.
Control F7, Bill?
Yes.
Hello?
I think, do you have to hold all three at the same time?
No, just controlling the F7
Yeah,
key.
control the F7.
Yeah.
It's not control alt, not function, function F7?
Yeah, that's it, that's it. I'm sorry, yeah, function. You got it.
No, it's still gonna do it.
What's right there?
Wait, wait. Don't touch it.
I just saw on the bottom.
I know, just like, oh, it's
There
going
you
to
go.
go.
You're good.
Alrighty,
Bingo.
yahoo!
Bingo.
All right. I just put it on for the visually challenged, like myself.
Yes, thank you.
Now you're welcome. Back up here and over here. So we have, well,
Well, we had 3 pools last time, and we've had, what, 3 today,
three
too?
today. Ingram pulled in, Ingram pulled in.
Oh, 4 Lion Street, that was the one that was 200 feet away
Oh,
from the
yes,
riverfront.
yes, yeah.
Okay. So let's move ourselves down, approve the minutes. Let's move to the, oop, it does not want to do that, break page. Okay. All right. Let me know when I can move to the next page.
I'm all set.
You're all set? Everyone's good?
Okay.
Alrighty.
Was that to get a Munsell book?
Yeah, I got it from Amanda, the Globe. We got the Globe one.
Okay, cool.
It's very good.
We good?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, really?
It's good to,
Any questions on the minutes?
Looks pretty straightforward to me.
Looks good?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as drafted.
second?
All in favor?
Very good.
So we can go back to work.
We gotta print that, I guess.
That would be a different one.
Should go wireless on this stuff.
Eventually, we need to, maybe that's, in our notes, we should talk about a new printer, copier, fax, one that does everything.
I can remember when we first got the projector. That was a big deal. Well, we have a TV now, too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
I don't think I can
combination
handle that level of
devices, because you
technology.
end up with those ink cartridges, and those are extremely
copies?
expensive.
Oh, one.
Yeah, yours is a little tattered.
Yeah, it's been used once or twice.
3.
It's my original one. I got that in '94, I think.
Yeah, it's probably about the same vintage as mine.
Yeah. I got some Gorilla Tape. I'm gonna fix it one of these days.
But that's a good investment for us
Oh,
to
yeah.
have when we do
Yeah,
site
the
visits.
new ones are $250. They're very expensive.
But those are 100, the
No,
gold ones?
that's $65.
There you go.
There's 64 plus shipping.
Yeah, we should have like a little equipment toolbox for site visits, like
Ooh, I made an extra.
a tape.
So we only need 4.
We used to have site visit report sheets too, that we,
I realize we actually still do. They're just on the computer, buried somewhere.
yeah, we need to dig those out sometime.
In fact, I was looking at a couple a little while ago.
I'm gonna have to use this as my screen.
Item number 4, Bills to pay. Bill, did you get a invoice together for that?
I do, but it's electronic. I'll print it out for next time. Yep.
I went through the file with all the bills in here. Anybody else have any bills that need to be?
Any bills? Sorry.
Any bills?
No bills.
Okay, moving on to financial accounts. I went through the folder. There are no financial accounts that have been printed for this meeting. Let's continue on with the administrative duties. Outreach and education plan to the week.
Yeah, I got something actually. Alex, if you could zoom in on this, can you zoom in? Those of you at home that subscribe to Science News, there's a really good article on peat bogs, and it has a story about peat bogs in Thailand. The burning of the peat bogs is causing a real environmental problem. So I'll just pass around for the commission to take a look at. But those of you at home, this week's Science News carries that story.
Thank you. Anything else on outreach, education? Anybody else all set?
Poison ivy's out.
No, thanks.
By your
Spring
tech
is
new.
sprung.
Pruning apple trees and raspberries right now.
Tree removals.
I don't have anything else as far as second is notices, ZBAs, planning board. There's nothing in here that's new.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I
there's
should,
stuff, it's all from December.
Oh,
It's got to be cleaned out.
I did talk to,
It did not happen. I thought Kathy was going to take care of that. There's notices from December that we already read into the January forest cutting plans that go back to last year.
I did talk
I'll go
to,
through it after the meeting.
Okay.
was it the
Site visits will go back to
planning
that
board?
as needed. Anything on old business?
Well,
We can go back to that too at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Because I had Glenn, I
Okay.
talked to Glenn Sexton from planning board,
Regarding.
Rod and Gun Club.
Okay, we can talk about that.
So that at some point,
7:30.
Not yet, 7:27.
It's 7:29 according to Verizon.
Calibrate your watch for crying out loud.
It's the computer.
It's not synced to the,
It's not my.
You have to resync it to NIS too.
But this is
Can
where
we
the official
discuss-
minutes are.
can we discuss emails? Because I got a weird email that I want
coming
that.
up on 7:30.
All right.
You guys know, if you want to talk about it after the meeting, that's fine. It's somehow weird.
Well, it has to do with some property, and I didn't understand it, where it was or what it was.
Well, let's go through our 7:30 hearings.
Mm-hmm.
7:30, public hearings. First on the agenda is Fugler East Street. I don't see, is anybody here for Mr. Fugler?
I saw Leo in the Dunkin' Donuts the other day, and he kind of confirmed what we all saw on site a couple of weeks ago. They're in the grow-in.
Progressing.
Yeah, they're in the grow-in period now, and I alerted him we'd be doing periodic site visits to monitor grow-in, and of course, his consultant file a report in November. And again, there's 2 years, we got 2 years to get that ironed out.
Sounds good. Continuation of an RDA filed by Jeffrey Bissett. Is there Mr. Bissett here?
I thought we issued that one.
It's continued again. We did not issue. That's the little footbridge.
No, I thought 117 was the septic system.
It's a septic.
Oh, septic.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it on the agenda then?
Is that the, where we did
Check
the
the
water?
Patty, did we not issue
we did
that
approve
last?
it
Yeah,
last-
we did, okay.
Yeah,
So that
so that's
shouldn't be there.
Strike that from the.
Do you want me to take it out of the minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
Just strike.
Just strike,
And
well,
just say it's
Yeah.
already approved from the last meeting.
all
yeah.
right, I'll just put that.
Okay, 7:35. continuation of the DCR Forge Pond. Any other news on that?
I've been in communication with Dave Leonard, our engineer, and I alerted Dave to the fact we might be seeking to do a decommission of the dam structure, and he's preparing some talking points for us. So I'll invite him in a couple of weeks.
That's fine. Has he prepared the phase one?
Yes, he's redoing the phase ones for DCR, the
So
periodic updates.
We'll be up to date?
Yes,
with DCR?
yeah, we shouldn't be out of compliance there.
So that's good. Did he tell you when he would have that phase one report ready? That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's just about done.
Okay,
if done,
so by
yeah.
the next meeting, we should be able to file that with
Yes,
DCR?
yes.
Okay, sounds good. Until 7:45. Kestrel Trust is also on the agenda, 307 Chickadee Street. Any news on that? Still no news?
But I have not reached out to them in a while,
Okay.
so.
No one is here for the 307 Chickadee Street Kestrel Trust? Again, I guess same motion to continue that to the next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Same thing, the certificate of compliance, Children's First, we're not able to issue a certificate at this point because we still don't have 2 growing seasons, I only think 1.
Plus, again, they've got invasives that we have to confirm
So
removal
continue
of.
that? Or we-
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
continue it until they, again, reach out to us, ask us to do another site visit.
So is that a motion?
Yep. Continue to certificate of compliance for Children's First.
Okay.
Second, Bill?
Okay.
In fact, what I'll do is I'll send Jeff Squire from Berkshire Design a quick email.
And see if they've been out
Yeah,
there yet.
just seeing what the status of that is.
I guess, want to go to 98 Colville at this point? Bill?
Yeah, Dave Collette was supposed to come in.
Mr. Colette's here.
Oh, there's Dave, okay, there is Dave.
I guess, Bill, do you want to let us know what's going on with this?
Yeah,
Sure, come on
Yeah.
up. Come on,
Yeah,
grab a
come on
chair.
up, Dave.
Grab a chair.
Grab a chair and,
give Dave the mic. You're not mic shy, David, are you?
I think he can hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's our new standard protocol.
Okay, when you get a chance, please sign it. Take those things.
I think at this point, Dave has a number of technical issues on his project, one of which directly concerns the commission, 2 others do not concern the commission, so I'd rather not talk about those. But Dave, I think, has hired Mr. Brooks to refile his NOI as an amended NOI to hopefully seek a reduction in size and cost of your crossing culvert.
Correct.
So what's the status of that, Dave?
It's actually just on the phone with Mr. Brooks for the meeting. He's said he's been battling pneumonia, but he was out there this morning taking some soil samples. He's currently reflagging with a lot of the flags were gone with the wind. The original person who had flagged it came out and he reflagged just basically where the bank was. Shannon wasn't super thrilled with it. He had a different opinion, but
This is an amendment you're filing?
we'll be filing, yeah. So basically, the size of the culvert was about 11 feet spanning. Given the size of the culvert on Cold Hill Drive, about 200 feet upstream, being a 12-inch pipe, obviously that seemed like it was a big extreme of a difference. I had talked to Sherman and Frederick about it. They were telling me that this was the only way they were able to do it. I ended up talking to the state about it. They looked at the NOI. They said that it seemed extreme. Mr. Bullis was the one who looked at it.
All right, so that's fine. I guess you're gonna come in with an amendment or refile an amendment. The issue, I guess, there was a complaint filed, Bill? Was there some issues with your silt fence work inside the resource areas or not?
So the building inspector had seen some construction debris, so that was kind of a big misunderstanding.
Was the construction debris in the wetlands?
No, definitely not in the wetlands. It was probably in the buffer zone. It was within the confines of the silt fence, so any runoff would have been.
Was the silt fence installed properly as far
Yes.
as it was functioning?
Yes.
Okay, so what's,
That material is now removed also. So basically, materials to be used for the driveway, my excavator said he had a contact with some less expensive crushed concrete. It turned out to be a building that somebody had taken down, and there was a bunch of crap in it. So after it showed up, obviously realizing that it wasn't acceptable, he came and picked it back up. So it's now.
so you had a cease and desist from the building inspector?
That was for a separate issue.
Okay.
So the contractor never had Jeff sign off the foundation. So because of that, the new building inspector, obviously not seeing the sign off foundation, I issued a stop work order until the foundation was shown to be acceptable.
When did you, does anybody here have any, what is the main issue on the complaint on the wetland side?
I don't know. I haven't been out there since.
What? Bill?
I think there's some reported tree cutting. Again, I've been out there a few times.
Have you cut trees in the wetland?
No, well, originally before the NOI came out.
This is a complaint from a butter, I thought.
I think it was.
It had to deal with erosion.
I think it was just general messiness of the site. You actually put a gravel apron in, and your neighbor didn't.
Yeah, we put a.
Yeah.
Construction.
Yeah, he put a construction apron in, and,
Yeah.
and his neighbor did not do so.
Well, I also noticed across the street, there was a big red placard on one of the trees that said that it was wetlands and not to enter with any construction equipment. Did the Conservation Commission install that?
No,
No, just signage.
Because I
that's
noticed
across the street.
a few weeks later it was removed, and the neighbor to that street, or to that property, was telling me how he had issues getting permits for his garage extension, and he noticed that it went in overnight, the tree cutting the driveway, and he was upset, so I didn't know if that would have anything to do with that, but.
Well, if you're filing an amendment, what's your timeline for the amendment?
So honestly, I started working with Mr. Brooks about 2 months ago, and he was waiting for the snow to melt, and unknown to me, he said, he told me today he was just getting over pneumonia, so I assume that's why he hadn't gotten out yet.
Yeah. One other question, Dave. Someone had said you brought in some fill material with some construction debris.
Right.
That was the driveway.
That was the driveway.
Okay, did you filter out the metal, the pieces of metal and wood?
I had them remove all of it.
Okay, so what did they do, screen it out or hand remove it?
They came with a bucket loader and took all of them.
Who brought the material in?
I mean, he did the right thing, he took it back, so I want to tarnish his reputation.
Okay, so is it a local person?
He's at Springfield.
All right,
All right,
So
okay.
what
So
happened was he brought construction material with rebar and
Right.
other material that's really not suitable for.
Exactly.
his
You know, why
driveway.
would anyone even think of bringing that to a residential property? That's
So he's,
It's been removed, so.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
so let's not worry about,
good.
so, all right,
So
so,
we're gonna be going back to the site again as a.
yeah. And also, I know there were trees that were cut because you were gonna possibly go a different way into the house? Whatever happened with that? Are
so,
those,
well, what ended up happening, before the NOI got filed, back when Mr. Lewis was the commissioner, we had done a preliminary, it was a site visit by, I think, multitude of members. Mr. Lewis called me, said that being that this was of man-made origins, that it wasn't going to be regulated. That's when.
Yeah, anyways, I think it was a misinterpretation.
Right. So, in all honesty, though, I have contacted him since then, and he does recall a phone call. I mean, I assume he explained it out, but as you said, he obviously, and at the meeting, so work had happened before the next meeting, and basically work ceased because you guys mentioned that obviously you didn't have the authority to do that in the field.
right. So do things appear to be growing back where that cutting happened?
Well, the whole driveway and everything was put in.
I think the driveway looks a lot better this week than it did the last couple
Oh,
of weeks.
so this is a different driveway versus
No, it's
the one that
same-
was permitted?
Same driveway you proposed.
Right,
It's
different
the same.
crossing. Like the culvert design and everything.
No, but what path did you take? I guess that's the question.
Did you take
use
the one that
path
you filed in the NOI, or is there a second crossing?
No, one crossing.
He's at the location the NOI had called out, except he put in a small diameter culvert as a temporary crossing.
Right, and there were other trees cut, obviously outside the limits of the NOI.
Okay,
Not understanding that it was going to be regulated.
okay.
So on the amendment, we'll have to deal with that at that time.
Yeah,
Take a-
we'll look at that internally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just make sure you
So
keep
that
track
was-
of your silk fence.
Of course, yeah.
Because like, I know like the next 3 days we're gonna get heavy rain, so.
Right. I recently added a bunch of wood chips to my contract eventually to help keep it strong and keep the water filtered, he said. It helps. Basically on, no, right, yeah, on Up Street sign right up against the silt fence. And it took all the slack out so it doesn't blow in the wind either, which seems to have helped.
Okay, so it's secure as long as it's secure and filtered.
And how's the temporary crossing right now? Is that,
That's been removed.
okay.
Yeah,
So how do you get to your house right
There's a
now?
culvert there now.
there is a culvert there.
Okay, so there's a
Where
culvert
you
temporarily in there.
proposed the crossing is where you put
Right.
the culvert.
Okay,
It's in the same
Okay.
place.
And again, I've been out there and it was channelized nicely and the width of the channel is very, very narrow, less than a foot.
okay.
Okay.
No, Dave, thanks for coming in and
Thank you.
briefing us on your
Yeah.
situation. Thank you.
And you
Did
seem like
anyone
you guys
else?
have- I mean, I honestly, I've heard from Bill a couple times, but, I mean, you guys saw my phone number, my email address, if you have any questions.
Does anyone else want to go out there? I haven't been out there in a long time.
I'm probably gonna take a drive up there sometime. during
Well, I
the
think we
weekend.
need to always have two commissioners go out together.
That's good protocol. That's
But
prudent.
then no one's ever going to go out.
Well, the problem with that is, I don't have a problem with one commissioner,
If it-
if
if-
they don't talk, there's no discussion.
That's correct.
with
That's
the
right.
Applicant
That's right.
or the commissioner.
That's right. That's the problem. When you have one
Conversation.
commissioner and then you have conversation and then it becomes a he said, she said situation, it's very bad.
If there's no
But if it's just
conversation,
observation and take some photos, it's fine.
I would just assume do that, and,
Okay.
I don't have to see you there, and I don't have to see anyone there.
Right, yeah, it's best just to go out and take a look.
All right.
Yeah, I urge everyone to go out there and take a peek for yourselves.
So
I
we're all
drive
set?
by regularly, so I see it all the time.
I think we're all set here.
That's it. Very good, David, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
3 minutes,
7:45 is the,
next hearing.
Bob, did you folks get on the agenda? Did you call Kathy? Or you're just coming informationally, aren't you?
We're just doing a general discussion.
Yeah, we have some folks from DOT at some point.
Only if you have time.
Yeah, of course, of course.
okay. 7:45, continuation of notice of intent filed by Mike P. O. PC Development LLC for proposed construction of residential subdivision and associated stormwater management structures. The roadway will require a wetland fill and open channel crossing with regards to property located on Carver Street and known as map 16B, 15.4 and 16 in the town of Granby. Excuse me. Anybody here for Mr. P.O.'s development?
I
And this,
move,
is this the monthly
move we
rate?
continue.
Bridge.
Okay.
Move to continue next week.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 7 Phillips Circle complaint. So I see, Amanda, you pulled all the
I
files.
was thinking it was Jennifer Drive, not Phillips Circle. Because this,
It's under the same NOI?
I don't know. I grabbed everything I could because it's a lot to go through down there. And it took a while because it's under a different name. What is the name on it?
Highland?
Highland, yeah. Which I didn't,
High Meadow.
High Meadow, yeah. I didn't realize that until I was halfway through the files and then I had to go back and get over it.
We have a old wetland mapping.
It was Associated Environmental, I think, did the wetland delineation, which is Mr. Lebec, Ray Lebec.
That was circa 1987.
that one?
Ed, you ought to just disclose for the record that your dad was on the project.
Yeah, just a point of fact that my father was the civil engineer for the project. He did not do the wetland delineation. So if you want me to recuse myself on this?
No, just denote it for the record, that's all.
Oh my gosh.
Noted?
That's a misery.
If this is not part of the high level subdivision overall filing, then we probably have to look at that again.
Has anybody found any delineations of the wetlands yet?
88, 87, was that DEQ? DEQE or was it a?
No, I think that,
I have abbreviated notice of intent here for Jennifer Drive,
To
single.
the right, stop.
We're still in
I
Philly.
think that was DEP. Give me 2 minutes.
There's a brook.
Each one of these get a side number, 16588, what's that one?
This one is, well, this is on Jennifer Drive.
Yeah.
But there, it's the backside of Phillips, right?
Yes.
This is 57, 58, and 59.
It looks like they all got different DEP numbers.
Yeah. So is this a right-of-way in the back, or is it, this is the road in
That's the
between?
road.
That's the road.
And this is where we're talking, out here where the brook is?
We've got another lot number you're looking at.
It's in
Yeah.
Do we know the original?
That's what I was trying to find. I was trying to work my way back to find.
Is
Mr.
this-
Chair, I should be playing the lottery today.
Oh,
Here's a,
here, add
here's
those
a
numbers
pond.
into your ticket.
Here's a pond on a lot. Is this the pond? Is this the pond?
Okay, the question was, I think at the last meeting, when Mr. Bernier filed an RDA, did we look at the wetland boundary lines and define them?
Did they check the magic box?
I don't even know where that
Pipe.
pond is. Yeah, I don't even know.
Question.
Well, I know
That's
I
what you need to
mentioned,
know.
somebody
The
mentioned
box
there
is
was
checked or
a
not. It's one form.
fire pond, so I didn't know if that was it. Between there.
There's the pertinent NOI right there.
I only see. No,
I think Mr. Weiss did that, Ed.
Yeah, see, on the application, Bill, Form 1, request for determination of applicability, Section B, determinations, Item 1, subsection B.
B.
Whether the boundaries of the resource areas depicted on plans and/or maps referenced below are accurately delineated, and that's not checked off. So,
So the lines,
May I see
so
the
the wetland
plan?
lines were not approved then?
we didn't.
So that's Al Weiss's depiction back in 19,
Was that, what year?
I have a whole plan.
2014.
2000, was it
Look at this.
2014?
yes.
Okay.
This is great.
Oh, yeah, that's the big subdivision plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So can you identify which house it is on here?
It's this one up here.
All right. Is this the, this
That's
is,
not the full subdivision plan.
all right, that's not the fire pond we're talking about.
That's one of the fire ponds, I think. It's
Okay.
not here.
B determinations.
So,
Okay, so that we do now know.
Detention area.
Yeah, the point of this plan was for the addition of 2 additions, one at the north and one at the south end of Nick's house back in 2014.
Is
So
that,
so it was inconsequential where the exact wetland line was pursuant to this project.
Right.
So that's
is
the
that the
reason.
wall?
Well, there's a patio in the back. Then there's 2 additions put on. Take a look at that, Ed. When to take a look at
So I was here. That.
Yeah.
So 1403, that's what I need. I just want to be able to find it again if we need it.
See the 2 additions?
1403.
And then subsequent to that, there was an issue involving the shed that we had Nick remove.
That's correct.
Yep.
Nick, the shed removal, how many months after this project did we direct you to remove the shed?
Before I started,
Oh, it was before this project?
just had somebody else build it out.
Okay.
Before you give me the
Yeah, that was it.
signature,
Right.
it had to be out.
That came out. It was based on wetland delineations at the time by Al Weiss.
Yep.
Just for reference, it's a different area in question from where he's worked in the past. He didn't do like a full property, we only did in the past what was in the area of the addition.
So, what do we want to do? We want to have that delineated compared to the original approved wetland boundaries?
But they didn't get approved, right?
These were not.
No, I'm talking about the subdivision back in '88.
Yeah, the 87, 88,
87,
yeah, the 87 boundaries. That might make sense. I know it's a fair amount of work, but that's a reasonable way to
Well,
approach
that was
this.
delineated back then by Associated.
Yeah, Levesque, Raymond Levesque, just now deceased.
Excuse me.
Realistically, that site, they're gonna rely on hydric soils on that site. That's a hydric soil site. So essentially, someone would probably go in, do some transects with some hydric soil cores and just go all the way down the line. Probably take them a half a day to do those.
Was it based on the original delineation?
Yeah, I think what they do is they would go in the field, locate the current wetland boundary, compare it with the old wetland boundary, and then we can make a determination based on the change. But again, over 30 years, 31 years, the wetland could indeed change, and often does.
Well, it depends what goes on both sides and upgrading of that area too.
It also depends on all the other structures that are added in as
That's
time
right,
goes
that's
by.
right,
So
that's right.
is that reasonable?
That's
Is
right.
that practicable, the question? Or fit?
Well, I think you can look at, if you have hydric soils below fill, you can tell if you do.
I remember Al Weiss going on site with us in 14, doing some hydric soil cores. I remember being on site.
Sure.
I don't have photos or any data from that, but I do remember Alan being on site and us discussing that.
So, Mr. Berry, those delineations that you said were, for Mr. Weiss were accurate, we did not approve those in 2014. That was not checked off in the application. So, and if it was checked off in the application, we requested probably a peer review from an outside environmentalist to verify those boundary lines.
Based on your suggestion last meeting, I was in contact with Al Weiss, and he had stated he would help me out to delineate it, because that was kind of
Oh, okay, good.
It wasn't a request, but it was a conversation, so I figured I'd go, John, and get the deal spin. He stated he was very busy at the moment, but he would get back to me. He did get back to me last week, and then he was going to delineate it this week. Preliminary flags, just kind of for you guys to see. Just so happens tonight at 6:15, I came home and there was 4 flags stuck in the ground. You know, he did soil holes.
Oh, he already did that?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I've already,
My guess would be that to resolve this issue is to delineate the entire wetland boundaries on your property from your northerly boundary to Phillips Circle and to any area that probably, if you had activity, going on, just to secure those boundary lines. So at least that way you know, and the neighbors know, this is it, this is the line line. So four flags, I'm guessing, is just the area behind where you originally were.
It was just the area in question at this point. You know, my only objection to that is that's a huge expense. And if it comes out where it's in my favor, then who's going to pay for that expense? You know what I'm saying? So
DEP in Springfield has brought it to our attention that there's some issues. So if we take no action, DEP would either.
Yeah, it's cheaper having us get involved in managing this for you than having DEP do it. Believe me.
So we need just to resolve. Now the 4 flags that he put in is the area that was allegedly filled.
Right. Well, allegedly
or worked, or whatever you want to, yeah. So,
You didn't happen to take any pictures that you could show us where those flags were tonight?
Oh, flags today? No. I got pictures for 3 years.
You know, again, the last meeting, we talked about the facts will prevail in this situation, and, you know, the facts that are just preliminary facts at this point is very, very close. I mean, we're within feet. This is like, I came home and I went, not bad, those flags are okay. When you showed me the original email from DEP, I said, that blue line, that's
sure.
I like that blue line. And, you know, it's right there.
Want to do a site visit, Ed?
I would.
A reasonable person would see that it's actually right there. I mean, you know, there's a little gray area here, I'm not gonna deny it, but it's not like,
Sure.
you know, 100 yards of, you know. stuff.
Let's, you want to do something, Linda, I think I'd want you there.
Yeah.
Amanda, all of us
I
should
think
go.
Michelle will check it out.
Going on what we talked about last time, not
Sure.
that it was like demanded, but you said that get some flags in the ground, take a look, go from there. I mean, that's kind
That's a
of,
good start.
you know,
That's a good start.
kind of as cooperative as I can.
Let's, you guys want to do it on Saturday? What's the weather on Saturday?
I'm gonna be in Boston.
What time?
Early?
Define early.
9
Well,
o'clock.
if Bill could go,
I can
Bill
do
knows
8
soils.
o'clock?
I
Bill
can,
knows
8:30?
soils.
8:15?
How about 9? Is that too late?
it's a little late for me.
Or
Oh, if it's that early, I'm probably.
how about 8:30? Let's do
I might be able to
8:30.
make it.
8:30.
8:30.
Meet on site at
8:30.
8:30.
8:30 is a compromise. Amanda, you available?
I can do 8:30.
Yeah, we'll join in a minute.
Sure.
According to the meeting of last week, 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, that you guys had mentioned that you were going to go out to the site. All of you. We're going to go out to the site to be able to see the site with your own eyes. Did that happen?
We're scheduling.
That's what we're doing right now.
Nothing's changed, I would imagine, in 2 weeks.
Oh, this goes here, this
No,
goes
I
here.
just didn't know if you guys had gone out already and then you're going out again because he put up flags.
Well, obviously, we have to observe the flags and see where they are and see if they're reasonable.
No, I was just trying to make a clarification on whether or not you had gone out and
No.
now you're gonna go out because the flags were put, or you didn't go out at all, and now you're gonna be.
We're going out for the first time as a group to observe the flags. And I think we'll look at it, and if there's need for more flagging, then we'll talk to Mr. Bernier and get that started.
Yeah, the part in question is where all that hay is. It's on, the side that he has the shed is on Jennifer Drive. Phillips Circle, his nice backyard, is the part that's, I'm saying, is been pushed back. I have photos from the last 3 years, each year, the transition of the property.
You know, you can probably explain as far as hydric soils and stuff like that. We're looking at wetland boundary lines, so the evidence should still be there if the wetland was there and it was filled.
The hydric soils won't change.
Right.
Even if the vegetation changes, the hydric soil markers
But
will not
something like
change.
that, we should, if it's documented dates, we could
But
look at the
Let's
photos.
see where this goes with the flags, and then we'll go out.
One step at a time, yep.
I also asked you, how do I get a hold of the person? I know how to get a hold of the person that lived there before, but all the complaints that he had when he had a garage that he couldn't use right next to his garage because the wetland came right up to there. That, how do I get those particular, are they in an archive somewhere or something?
I'm not familiar with those complaints. I don't
Well,
know. They-
have
You know,
they
if they're
been
here,
for
it's,
10 years?
if they're here, I mean, this is the RDA, request for determination of applicability. This is the filing.
Complaints such as that would be in minutes, and
Minutes.
minutes would be filed. So in order to figure
I
out,
have to go through each.
you'd have to go through all the archived minutes, so you'd have to have an approximate.
What's the date on Al Weiss's plan, Ed?
For any complaint prior. So if you're going 10 years back, you'd have to know, you know, who was on the board, where, what, when the complaint was made, a lot of details that we don't have the manpower for.
Do you have an approximate date?
I can get those because, some of the neighbors that I spoke to said that they also have complained. One of the neighbors, the Kings that are right across from Jennifer Drive, from his property, complained within 2 years ago, he said, 3 years ago. And, Kim's Cuts, she turned around and said that she's complained within the last 3 years, because I asked them if it was in the last 3 years. I know I complained in the last 3 years. I went to the town, I asked them, who do I go to about the wetlands? And then they gave me the wetland guy's number, which was his cell phone, and I talked to him personally on the phone, and he said that he would go out to his property immediately to be able to look at what he was doing, because at that time I put in a complaint.
I know
So where that went?
we've done site visits in that area, and I'm not sure which ones we've done and which ones we haven't.
I found the minutes. This is, minutes of May 13th, 2014. This is RDA filed by Nick with respect to a property at 7 Phillips Circle. This is the project that we have here, Nick.
Okay.
It says, Chairman Lewis makes a motion for a -3 determination on the RDA with special instructions as noted on Form 2. All the commissioners vote in favor to approve the motion for a -3 with special instructions. So I think we'd have to find the actual document to see what those special instructions were. But that was addressed on the 13th of May, 2014.
If my memory recalls, special instructions were to remove the shed a couple feet out of the resource area. And it was, again, working outside the resource area, and if somebody complains because they're assuming that you may be in it, that's, the gray area there. And you could drive by somebody's property and say, ooh, they're in the resource area, but you don't know that.
That they're in what? That they're in what?
He said resource area. Resource area. So, we'll be out there Saturday at 8:30.
Yep.
Auger in
Oh,
hand.
is that the special?
No.
Oh.
So.
Amanda,
Mr.
bring your globe book and we'll get some
Look
practice.
at Mr. Weiss's wetland ribbons, and so we'll have to. Ladybug. Let's meet again at the next meeting.
I move we,
May 8th,
let's continue this matter until May 8th, yes.
And between then and now, we will meet at site this Saturday, 8:30.
Great, thank you.
Ma'am, did you sign in so we have your name?
Yes, ma'am, I will. And shall I bring my computer next time, which has the dates on it?
I guess, if you want, I don't know.
Because it's not just the line, it's in between, it's the wetland itself
Yeah, okay. We
too.
got-
Every single little sapling has been trimmed, it has been taken away, so the
Yeah.
only thing that's left is the old trees. So once the old trees die off, you ain't got wetlands anymore because the trees are all gone.
Okay.
So it's the saplings too.
Okay, we'll continue this on the 8th of May. Thank you.
You gotta put this back in organization. organized fashion.
It's okay, I'll.
Yeah, actually, that,
This is really the only folder at this time.
yeah, you want to
Yeah,
keep
that's
that
the
one out, and
upstairs.
maybe Amanda can put the others
Yeah,
back. Okay, thank
I wish
you.
we could find the original delineation from the vet.
88. That's the one we should gear towards.
Well, that's why I grabbed all the ones I could find.
It might be in there, it might be.
Yeah.
If,
I'll go through them.
for your information, if you find a folder,
What's the
the lot number,
lot number?
it's not on here.
It's gotta be.
No lot number. You can look that up through,
But Mass Land
Mass
Records,
Land Records, so.
yeah.
Yeah, I found it before. I have to go back and double check it.
All right.
Take care, Cindy, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
So we'll keep this one out. Try to look for the other one, for the original filing.
Yeah.
And this is the. It's continued.
So hard to read with this pen.
Because there's a pretty good map of one of these. So I'll stay for, these, this is the DOT. Okay, I need to fly, we have a 3-hour drive.
Okay, you want to take off? Go ahead. I guess Mass Highway?
Yeah, come on up, Bob, and Ms. Fang, come on up, folks. Yeah, bring some chairs up if you'd like, of course. Thank you.
So just like a real brief informal discussion, make sure it takes us time out.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we've been looking at Route 202 for a number of years now, a couple of intersections. And I'll just briefly introductions. Jun Xiaofeng, design engineer for Mass DOT, Robert Ontario, maybe before, Mass DOT, environmental engineer. And thanks again. So we've been looking at Route 202, and one of the areas we wanted to discuss with you is 202 on School Street, because there's
I hear a rumor there's a roundabout going in. Tell me it's true. Is it true?
let's see.
Okay, and you have to deal with Mr. Partika to negotiate a land deal, but eminent domain is a powerful tool, isn't it?
Yeah, and part of that's town of, and part of it's town of Granby land, because that
Well,
was
that's
given to us too.
I think
We'll like to see this.
Yeah, I'd like to see the concept plan, it'd be
I've
great.
seen the Wetland flag. I want to know if you delineate that as riverfront or where your riverfront starts too.
speaking of resource
Why don't we just go over the general geometric and the concept, and then we'll start talking particulars?
Let's snap over geometry.
Oh, no. We're in Ed.
Yeah, again, that's why I sent you a quick email. Next time, if you have a PDF file of all this on PDF computer, then we'll put it up on the screen so everybody at home can see this, because we're televised to all the people in town now.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's talk about,
Oh, look at
let's
that.
talk
It's
about
beautiful.
invisible resource area.
Okay.
Bordering and subject to flooding. That's really why we're here. Kind of a two-part discussion with you, depending on how much time you have. Your feelings on flood zones in the area and possible changes to those flood zones. I'm guessing, I don't want to assume that flood mapping has not changed from now, except for specific areas.
Well, hold on, the last book, Ed, what was it, 82? The last extensive FEMA study was 82? 80. And has that been updated? It was supposed to have been updated.
Yeah, there's rumors, things, in Hampton County got
I thought Eastern Mass was they've already been upgraded.
some Eastern Mass, some towns are even redoing their own maps,
Oh,
things
okay.
like that. As far as I'm aware, I know there's some mapping change, there's actually quite a few, there's actually quite a few letters of mapping changes.
Yes,
in the area.
yes, amendments, yes.
Which is significant.
Well, that means that either their first floor is above the flood stage, so
Could be, yeah, could be.
So are you guys proposing to fill in above the 100-year flood elevation as depicted in the 1980 map?
No matter what we would want to do out there,
Yeah,
we're going to be working in border enhancement.
okay. So
So,
are you in a position to do compensatory storage as per DEP regulations within a half mile of the
the
site?
lay of the land, the topo changes are few and far between.
Okay,
So we would have to be well away from
okay.
whatever the brook, it's Turkey Hill Brook and there's tributary high
Yeah,
that flow zones
yeah,
in that region. We would have to be well off the breaches of little brooks to provide comp storage because of the proximity to the roadway and the limited length of those brooks in that area.
yeah,
So I'm a big fan of Wetland Protection Act, I've worked with it
yeah,
for years, but
yeah.
this is one section you might be familiar with, is that providing comp storage within the same reach of the
That's right,
river,
exactly
at
right,
that
right.
exact
That's
elevation.
right, that's right.
Um,
Otherwise, you potentially jeopardize
I'm
the
just
dwelling
thinking in
units in the
between-
area.
I went out there when this was delineated before, and there's
okay.
the ponds, the isolated land subject to flooding out there. I could see that there's some land maybe in between that might be used. I know there's a vernal pool right here.
I mean, it's a tough area. I mean, you're changing maybe a foot every several hundred feet,
Yeah.
things like that.
Mhm.
And,
Well, here's the question. The total volume for comp storage, is it on the order of 10 cubic feet, 100 cubic feet, 1,000 cubic feet, or 10,000 cubic feet?
just some
Just
additional
order of
numbers
magnitude.
that Sean and other engineers have crunched. We're using cubic yards at this point.
Okay, all right,
Just
okay,
initial,
cubic yards, yeah.
We've got a couple hundred cubic yards of impacts already. It could be significantly more.
Yeah, this 200 cubic yard was not calculated based on this roundabout. It was
Mhm.
calculated based on the original design, which is at the signal, at the school street, and at the left turn lane on the both sides of Route 202.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
just because of that,
mhm.
they have to get this 200 cubic yard. Yeah, 220 cubic
Okay,
yard.
now, are those involved, at what elevation are those 220 cubic yards? Is it over just a couple of feet or 1 foot? Oh, if I could look at your spreadsheet, that'd be good.
That's his stuff. He understands that.
Yeah, it's over a few feet. If it was at
All right, so the 274 to 275 and the 273 to 274 is the bulk of the comp storage that Ed, you went, and Wenda, everybody take a look at that, okay.
yeah, it's significant, you know.
And it's, yeah, the problem is that is not roundabout. It is that roundabout was still proposed. This number will higher.
Here's the next question. Is there an obvious choke point in the river that would be a impediment to flow in the event of a heavy storm event?
I think they're far enough from where the.
There must be
river
a culvert.
crosses.
Is there a crossing culvert? There's a crossing
Yes, yeah, the
culvert.
river goes under the, yeah.
Large culvert or small bridge over.
Yeah, yeah.
Say,
And you're, are you impacting?
It's on that side, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, there.
yeah.
But the river runs north to south or south to north in that area?
It runs,
Does it
I
run-
guess north, if north is up on this map.
Or it runs north?
Yeah, it
South.
runs into Forge
Oh,
Pond,
it
I
does,
think.
okay.
And then out of Forge
Okay.
Pond.
others, others trips, it might be
Yeah,
on north and
yeah.
south, but in that stretch, or that tributary, it's a northern.
Do you know if you're in any protected, what is it, MIPA? What's the areas? Yeah, no, the
Oh, natural heritage?
natural heritage in there.
What's in the roadway at this point?
Yeah, no, roadway.
Yeah, you're not gonna have any dangerous.
Again, just personally, I'd like to see the project go, but I don't want us to, and you don't want to flood out any homeowners in a storm situation.
Can't have a
You can't do that, because,
project that's
because then we're on court.
Performance standards.
Right, that's right. So,
Protection Act.
My big question is, from my perspective of rotaries like the one near Atkins, I don't know if you know, probably know about Atkins, they're on 116. We have huge truck traffic on here, and the rotaries do not seem to be well designed for truck traffic.
We're supposed to go over the middle.
Yeah, I mean.
No,
They're supposed to go over that pavement.
Project there, we want to have storage, so,
Yeah,
you know, that's mainly what the discussion
okay.
is now, because there's ideas, we can talk about concepts and ideas, but you can't move forward without having the concept.
Do you know if the dam at Forge Pond is impounding or cause of this 100-year flood storage coming back up?
You know, you can look at a couple different things in the watershed, you make a couple of theories, make a couple of assumptions, but I don't have enough information and just doing as much research as I can, looking for flood map changes.
well, then it's an Army Corps project, because then we're starting to change structures. See, we're starting to
Well, I'm
change
just wondering-
structures. Good idea, though.
Who owns
Good
it?
idea.
Like this section of property right here.
That's kind of my concern. Is that the junkyard? That could be the junkyard.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, nothing within, let's just say 500 feet for general.
Okay.
Within 500 feet, which would be considered, at least in my consideration, within the same stretch of the river or stream, has to total. It just doesn't happen, it just doesn't exist,
Yeah.
you know?
So you're looking for like elevation 275.
If you had a couple little knolls here, there, 275, 276 within the region, okay,
Because this
start
field
chipping away at it, maybe
is
something
flat.
a little creative.
Yeah.
Ed, remember
It just
years ago,
doesn't-
no, excuse me, Ed, remember years ago, there was a guy on School Street, about 200 feet south of the intersection. We had to walk in his backyard because he was putting a shed in.
Yes, and that's been all flooded under.
That's right, and he was a guy that was right on the cusp of the 100-year flood elevation. And if you ended up with a backwater situation in excess on this project, that would affect his yard and all his neighbors' yards. So Bob, is it possible for you folks to come up with a comp storage scenario that's doable?
We're gonna have to keep working on it.
Okay.
But part of the,
Okay.
in discussion with you, and I was hoping Mark Simpson was gonna come out too, we said he couldn't make it,
Yeah.
but, was to see, had there been any significant, projects, this is intent, had there been any changes with the, for one, feeling, rather than, a lot of activity or knowledge of any map changes in the area, things like that, that might change things.
There have been some map changes on Forge Pond in the past 20 years. And these are all private homeowners,
Nope.
typically for septic repairs and
This
stuff
is a
like
crazy
that.
question. Can you put like a culvert and have like a spillover area here on the other side of the intersection?
Another culvert.
That would allow for comp storage on the other side of the road here. See what I'm looking? This
Right.
area here?
Right.
That could flood through here.
In using other areas as flood,
Yeah.
yeah.
flood the previous Granby cafe.
Yes, yes, like that corner.
Yeah, not an idea I would be familiar with unless it was sale-on land, agency on land,
Yes,
sale-on land.
I think the problem is maybe state don't own that
Right, it's
land.
private.
So then we need to find, the reason we come here is because we cannot find such a area in our limit.
Oh,
This is
Or even
only
close.
intersection improvement, so we are very limited.
So you wouldn't buy property if you need comp storage, the state?
I mean, if it was within reasonable proximity, kind of a situation, as far as redirecting, I don't think it's something we.
So you're gonna need private property to get this done, essentially.
Well, there's land taking-
It's in the idea phase right now, so, I
Yeah.
mean, this
Yeah.
is the conversation to,
Yeah. I still think there might be something in here. This is all town now, right here. On this side,
it's all town,
yes.
okay.
So there might be something that you could lower. See this area here?
Amanda, could you call up a topographical map, please?
I have a feeling that there might be something in this
I mean,
Zone B
I mean, well south, there's some knolls and some topo that approaches that. But then, you know, when you're coming in with a notice of intent,
Thank you. Yeah, zoom in on that much as you can.
and providing comp storage outside of the reach of the existing stream, so that'd be something the commission would have to be possibly.
Yeah, here's your topo map here, Bob. Could you zoom in, Amanda, please? So there's a lot of ice contact type deposits there, so there's a lot of cames and came terraces and kettle holes and stuff. So there's a lot of little dips and knolls in the terrain that you could take advantage of.
That's why I was thinking that those isolated ponds could be possibly enlarged in that area. Have you walked around in there?
I haven't, yeah, I can't go on different areas there, but just surveying.
This is all town right here.
Right.
And there are some isolated land subject to flooding here ponds that I think there might be land in between those, because I've walked between them.
There's nothing from what I can see from the orthos, if I had permission to go in there, maybe I could talk with somebody from the town, maybe do some survey up in there. That might be an option. Well, this is good information, I appreciate the ideas.
Yeah, I would check out that area. Would he talk to Dave? Who would he get permission from?
We start getting some topo down here, but as far as, you know, USGS, if I was seeing something pop in the USGS, I could go check it out. I see some things over here, some things over here, but we're well off the beaten path.
So you're looking at elevation 273 to 275 typically, that's where you're looking at, okay.
You know,
I just think that possibly those areas could be enlarged in between the river and that would give you your storage.
yeah, I mean, that would be a major undertaking, I think. We'd have to show how that would meet the performance standards too, because,
Now, can you do that in riverfront, or it wants to be an actual riverfront?
to do what you were.
The comp storage, can you?
I
That
mean,
would be
inevitably, it's in riverfront, because that's
Right.
kind of what you're
what
doing.
you're doing,
Have to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
good question, though.
Don't take a look at geometry.
It's an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the reason we come here is, you know, to really, this is a really early concept plan. You know, to do,
Yeah, and what's the outer diameter of the pavement?
are we trying to use the design vehicle is,
WB 62, 67, okay, that's a bigger, it's even a bigger truck.
Yeah, is now, I think it's 120, the diameter, 120, and then we have the inner, and we have, inner is 40, and then we give them like a 15 truck April, truck and go.
Okay.
This is our prayer.
So a WB 67 semi, which is a huge semi, will handle this, that's fine.
Is this the same size as like Atkins Rotary?
All this is, we're trying.
Yeah.
Just so I can compare it in my brain.
Linda, they, on their plan here, they have FMJ Realty as that owner, not the town. You may want to verify.
Yeah, I think she is talking
Which
about.
way up
the-
That's Partika. FMJ's Partika.
I thought they donated all that to us.
Not
that whole
all of it,
section.
not all of it, not all of it.
This
Okay.
isn't certified by any stretch.
No, but I think that
Oh.
still is owned by FMJ. I don't think it's owned by the town.
Oh,
You'd have
alright.
to verify that.
FMJ's one of Partika's companies.
Okay, I thought it went all the way up to that intersection, what was donated to us.
We just got the perimeter of the pond.
But I love this idea, I think this is great.
All right.
This is outstanding.
Yeah, the reason we come here to early coordinate with you guys is, you know, think about, we need to put the time and to develop this, you know, do all the calculations, do all the cross-section, draw this, and then if we cannot get the environmental permit, I think we'll basically kill this project.
Yeah, well, actually, let's go back to the original motivation for this. If we could talk to the accident rate and the extreme accidents that have occurred here, why don't you give us some motivation for this project, you guys?
Mean the trash?
Yeah, well, the historical problem, and this is the whole rationale for doing
Yeah, I gotta
this.
get that.
Yeah, the trash. I think that
For the project, and I think if we came up with the comp storage, I think worst case scenario, we would be asking for to use a comp storage at those first elevations, at the stretch. Because none exist that I can see within the same stretch of the river.
Have you ever used chambers for comp storage?
Not
Infiltrator chambers?
Not within this district or section of the state, but there have been
Oh, yeah.
using of, basically.
Use the big infiltrators, those
the
giant
storage
ones.
Piping or.
That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, exactly right.
There's even, you can even,
Why don't you propose that if need be?
it wouldn't work, we'd almost have to have an elevated roadway through the whole entire stretch
Okay,
to be able to get the cubic yardage.
okay.
If it was, under 100 cubic yards, we could.
Yeah, you think it's a little too big for that, okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting, it's an interesting question, it's an interesting discussion.
Oh, yeah. But I like the design. Certainly will slow people down, that's for sure. Of course, the interesting thing about the roundabouts that maybe no one really thought about, and I know Atkins is suffering this, is nobody really maintains the plantings, and they don't look too good after a while.
That's what I propose. I propose the middle is no landscaping.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, that's okay. I know. In concept, it's a beautiful garden area, beautiful wildflowers, but nobody has the time or inkling to do it. It's too bad.
It's no, the theory is no garden, no garden.
Yep, that's right.
Do you agree with that part of the Sunderland, Route 47 and the intersection of 47 and 116? The garden is really beautiful.
Oh, yes, that's maintained, yeah, that's maintained, yes.
You know,
Yes,
imagine with all these volunteers that will come.
yep. And the one you have at Look Park, but that's a tiny one, that is not a big one, that's a little tiny one. That wouldn't accommodate a big WB 67 or 62 truck.
I should take my word back. Maybe our design vehicle is not WB 67. WB 67 is like
67, you don't see, 62 is typically the biggest truck you see around, a 62 foot, yeah. 67 is a monster truck, yeah, that's a real monster vehicle. Okay, well, again, I don't know how the commission,
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea, and I hope we can work with you guys to come up with a comp storage scenario that works.
I think
Yeah.
it's definitely an improvement to that intersection, and safety, I think, should be really thought of on this project. Not only for the flood, but,
Again, this is a traffic safety, yeah, this is a real important project.
Yeah, because we, as more and more roundabout installed in America, and more people notice the advantage of roundabout, which slow the speed and the safety compared to signalization. Think about why we go through this way. First the stop sign control, then signalization, then after years and do the roundabout. So kind of even the DPW guys and the chief, the police chief, once we go jump to this roundabout, it's awesome.
Well, it appears, my observation, I know that everyone out in the world can't see it, that the amount of impact is much less for the roundabout in terms of the amount of widening up the.
Yeah, then I don't need wide.
Alex, if you
That's
can
what
get
I'm
a
saying,
shot
you're-
of this.
For that one versus this one, because the amount of, there's less impact in increasing into the wetlands on both ends of it. This one has more impact on the wetlands than that one does.
but
Yeah, this is our second mistake.
This show up okay?
Yeah, 5
But you're right, if you did
signal lights,
roadway,
Right.
intersection change compared to roundabout, we could be approaching into the riverfront and wetlands.
Right.
We technically, on that portion of the project, we don't have wetlands impacts.
Impacts.
It's all organized subject to flooding,
So,
which is resource area, don't get me wrong, but it's.
well, it's still resource, but we're talking about, impact, resource area versus impacting wildlife, which to me is a much bigger consideration, at least, and I think for a lot of us on our board, the idea of looking at the widening of that road and then considering how close we are down to where, the crossing for Forge Pond and a whole lot of other things, it's almost like not feasible for all the permitting in terms of just wetlands versus that one being much nicer.
And the reason, as we talk about the five corner, the
Right.
reason for us to propose the sidewalk on
Right.
both sides, on the whole intersection, is because we basically have the requirement, like healthy transportation to promote the bicycle.
Yep.
The sidewalk when
Yep.
possible. That's why we proposed this sidewalk and 5 foot shoulder.
Right.
This cost widening.
Yeah.
For the safety issues, we have to, because of the Cumberland Farm East Driveway and the Amherst Street, they are not line each other. They
Right.
have like 20 feet apart,
Right.
which make the left turn on both sides pretty difficult. Think about the people who want to turn left, will stop here, and the guy who wants to turn left will hit it. A lot of the crash happening in this area.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so now we propose, our original design is to realign Amherst Street to align to this driveway. But this problem will take away the parking lot in parking space. Parking space in the 5 corner plaza.
Yeah.
But he doesn't own that. I thought that was a question of ownership.
Corporate ownership is this part. This is the state part. State owns this part. This state is the town own this.
Right.
But the town kind of want to boost this business. That's why they ask us to realign the driveway. This is concept plan 2. Realign this driveway, but here is wetland. So we have a solid.
So that's about a 50-foot lateral shift, I think, to the east. Yeah, east shift, yeah.
Big
Yeah.
shift. If you know that area, the slope is very pretty deep. So, to remove the whole thing, we have a lot of fail. A lot of fail, and then I roughly calculated it's 1,400 square feet wetland replication. Again, we don't have such land to replicate in our limited work because we own this part and then all our land is used by widening 5 foot shoulder and then sidewalk and the rest to fill this solid 1,400 square feet of wetland is impossible.
I'm curious, what's the accident rate? How many accidents per year in this
How
vicinity?
many are not? I
Let me tell you a quick story. And again, everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. You head east through the intersection. You want to turn in to go into Dunkin' Donuts. You pull in, you attempt to take a left. Either someone's coming out here or someone's on your tail. This is a very, very congested little... Yeah, the traffic queue is the queues are all screwed up. It's very, very bad
It's here where they're
Very,
trying to
very
get out
bad.
and they try to cut in to go into 202. So you'll see a lot of accidents come in this way, so they'll be cutting out here, cut across, and then you'll see tons of side swipes. Most of the time, over at here also the same problem. They can't quite span that, so they want to cut in to either get into line or cut in across.
Frankly, I think if they got rid of this curb cut and made everyone enter through here, it'd be a lot safer. I'll tell you, there's some it's poorly designed. The original people didn't do a good job designing that.
Yeah, we just trying to fix it by writing it out.
Yeah.
People cannot make a left turn.
No.
Cannot make a left turn. Red in, red out. And here should be entrance only.
Yeah, this is entrance only, isn't it?
This is entrance only.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, which
This
isn't
This
too
is
bad.
entrance only,
Yeah,
but that doesn't stop people from going.
Yes,
That
that's why
doesn't-
I
I know,
say it's
I know.
right
Yeah,
house.
that's
That
tough, that's
doesn't
a,
stop people from.
well,
Yeah,
again,
but you can see we have a sidewalk all through this project. Yeah, here, even there, and 5-foot shoulder.
and this one's gonna happen this year? Is that the, you believe?
No.
No?
You don't think about how long we can get our permit.
Well, I think we can, work with you on this one, too.
20. We just
Two more years.
had our first public hearing in March.
But then you're right, this is just, that's interesting.
What was the result at the public hearing? Did you get any comments?
The town, the mayor, the police chief, and the DPW guy, and they all there, and some residents here present too. And they basically support this project.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
In that presentation, I think I do show the rate. I have a crash report, and I have the rate. Of
Good,
course,
good.
these two intersections all above the average.
It is, okay, okay.
That's why it's
Okay.
top 5, okay?
Yeah.
We are top 5% here.
Oh, it is? Wow. So it's in the 95th percentile of all intersections, that's,
See how many, this is where.
I think, it must be one time, this two
Yeah.
intersection is in the top 5%.
Wow.
Otherwise, we will not have this project initiated.
oh, I see. So that's a red flag that tells you guys to address a project then?
Yeah,
The top
crash,
5, I see, okay,
crash.
okay.
Yeah, we already developed a project
Wow.
too. You know,
Wow.
every intersection has a crash. But,
Yeah.
to improve which one,
Yeah.
which one has a problem.
But I'll tell you, that's a good project, and this is a very, very good project.
I think
in my
it's,
opinion.
I really, I mean, I think it's a really, a great idea. I'm tired of seeing, I'm trying to see, I'm the owner of that property, just so the town's aware. So I own that property, and the amount of accidents and people I've seen hurt at that intersection is awful, awful. And I mean, I would say I can't tell you how many times. This one's all the time. If they're not hitting each other here, they're hitting each other in front of my house.
Patty, are there fender benders that are not reported to the police from time
There's
to
a lot of
time?
squealing tires, a lot of people honking, missing, near misses, a lot of near misses.
How many times a week do you think?
Do you want me to count how many times a week?
No, just estimate, because again, you live there. You're
I live there,
Yeah.
living there, I would say probably, I mean, for what I am there, more than I care to count, because the problem is since the bank moved in, the problem we have now is the bank, and we have the traffic for the bank, then across from us, so people will be cutting out from the bank and trying to get into line, and so the addition of the CVS has not helped things, because then people are trying to cut into CVS. The light isn't designed for the additional businesses in the area. Even having the subway in has been an additional use of traffic. There's just more traffic there than there's ever been. So even besides reported accidents, you're talking about people always pulling over and passing their information and clipping each other a lot. Well, it's not, the intersection isn't properly designed it was redone when CVS went in. It wasn't redone when the bank went in. And so the bank has additional traffic going in right before the intersection, and then also entering in right after the island that's pictured here. So you have people trying to get in, so you'll have people slowing to go into the bank before the intersection. So people get clipped there too. It's just like the bank, the post office, they're just...
All types of.
Yeah, that's why the sidewalk was proposed, promote a kind of a healthy transportation pattern. People park there and use the sidewalk too.
Well, there is no sidewalk, because I know a lot of people in town, and this is what's a safety issue, is that we have the condo and the apartment complexes up from mine. A lot of people walk the streets, so a lot of the kids, they'll be walking on the road.
Yeah, that's why.
And so we allow them to walk on our property. Like, I don't mind if they walk on my property on the edge. I don't want them walking in the street. But then you have people pulling out from the bank. So it's not exactly a safe. It's just changed. It's developed more than it used to be.
Okay, so if the commission can work with the DOT to get this permitted, I think it's a worthwhile project.
I think it's a
That's all.
very good idea.
Okay.
It's a safety issue in our town.
Okay.
Yeah, and I really hope this sidewalk and this bicycle lane can help, so what you said.
I just see I see a lot of people walking, and you know what, if you could go to the bank and then go grab your coffee, you wouldn't get in your car.
Yeah.
And people might walk across the street and leave their car at CVS and walk. You'll see literally people get in their car, drive across the street. Because I see it all the time. So it would be good for the town as a whole to have a nice complex area where people could walk and go to the
No,
post
that'd
office.
be terrific. Right now, the sidewalks go to nowhere. There's
They go to nowhere, they
little
end.
segments that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, only the CVS.
Yes.
Only to
It's
CVS.
a sign, like initial step.
Yes,
out of
yes.
Granby 5 corner.
It just would be, it's a safety issue. It really, the town is developing, which is a great thing. I'm really good to see the banks and other things, but.
Yeah, you are right in the point, because this project is called safety improvement at group 2 locations in the town of Granby.
No,
So Bob,
Message received, find comp storage.
yeah, so I don't know, can we help you find comps? What can we do for you?
We'll continue looking, and maybe we'll continue having a discussion with you as what we find, the ideas we have. At some point, we're gonna have to make the decision whether we can do it or not, whether we can meet performance standards.
Okay.
We're not gonna come in front of you
without
with a notice.
Have you secured some land where the cafe is, the Granby Cafe? Have you secured that property?
There's no right of way or legal work.
That has been done, okay. Because again, if you have to acquire land from the Partika or one of their trusts for the cafe, you may as well approach them for some comp storage on the other side of the road at the same time.
Okay.
You need some land, but that's just a little, because we need to build a sidewalk, little with a wheelchair ramp sidewalk for the people to cross the road safely.
Okay.
We don't propose a sidewalk in School Street because
Well, you got McDuffie up the street though, but again, it doesn't go anywhere.
They don't go
Yeah,
anywhere.
there's nowhere to go.
yeah, so compare, although there's 2 intersections in Granby, town of Granby, we have sidewalk proposed in the full limit of work in one, but only little segment at 4
But
corners.
it'd be nice to have a sidewalk, because I know that a lot of the people walk from our housing, the Granby housing area. And it would be nice for them to be able to walk.
Definitely needed.
No, it's definitely, definitely a needed project.
Yeah, the problem, the wetland on both sides.
Yeah, well, I know, I'm very well aware of that.
Yeah.
We've done other projects in the area. We're very well aware of all the wetlands in here.
And to have this bicycle lane and the sidewalk slope work, we almost use all our land, state land is all used, we have no way to find this 1,400 square feet wetland application. So we need your help.
What's your right of way, 75, 100 feet? Typically your right of way width,
What's the width in the school street?
roughly?
This,
The right of way, what is it?
Usually
it's either 50 or 60.
Yeah,
60-foot layout typically?
Rather round though.
60-foot layout for state highway, okay.
For that.
I think it's perfect.
Perfect setting for it.
Yeah,
Borderline subject to flooding rules a day in that location, so.
yeah, well, we'll get it done. We'll get it done.
So unfortunately, if we can't find the comp storage, then we're looking at a light probably.
Well,
Even that has comp storage issues.
Yeah, it's comp storage issues anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
any type of geometric
Yeah,
change.
it's gonna
Okay, yeah.
trigger.
We'll get this
anybody look
done.
at it, So
Yeah.
it's,
This is based on non-roundabout.
those numbers, right.
That number even is not roundabout.
oh, this is the
That's-
non-roundabout number.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what I'm
oh,
saying.
oh,
We
okay.
I need to widen the both sides
okay,
to have the.
Right, which is what I was
line.
talking about, plans.
So you're gonna be probably close to that number, maybe a little more on the 212.
Yeah, a little bit more. Now it's 200, yeah, I think about the 300. If we can
Okay,
find
that's
the
still-
area.
We'll still get it, we'll get it done.
I would get it. I like the idea of putting a roundabout.
We'll get it
there,
done. We'll get it done.
Widening it. if you're widening it, then we're impacting, then we have two problems on this project. If we get the roundabout, we only have one problem. We'll take one over two any day of the week.
Well, part of the alternatives, I would say those alternatives.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's good to do, it's good to kick around, it's sort of concept stage, if you will.
Oh, it's nice.
So, this has been great.
I think this is wonderful that you guys are looking into this. I really honestly do. And I live there, so I'm one of the people who's impacted by the project.
I'm sorry, this is
I will have to
the
recuse
concept
myself.
plan. You can see here the line is kind of messy.
No, no.
The focus is there.
No, because that's where it all is.
We can PDF those to you. Did you want any copies of any of the?
No, we can get all that stuff, but if you could PDF us the concept plans, that would be great. That would be fine. We can send them around. Sure, thank you so much.
This is the concept too, if we will do
Yeah,
this.
that's fine, that's
But
fine.
this gives the idea, you know, like a
Yep,
100,
yep.
100 cubic yards,
So you,
200,
this one here,
500.
1,400 square feet of replication? Why can't
That we can most likely work out.
we just take it in here if we're filling this, take some of this out? This is
No.
all in your right of way.
A lot of people said this is not wetland, basically, like the storage area, like cover.
Detention pond?
Yeah. Maybe.
You could do that and put a retaining wall in. They could put a retaining wall in to pick it up.
That's kind of like,
Yeah, we think that, because that is our property.
Yeah, it's in your right of way.
Yeah,
it's a BMP,
but
you know, it's,
cannot. It's just.
When that was built, I don't even think they had BMPs,
yeah. I mean,
because
That was like,
that was back.
that
in
was
the
mid-70s.
1960.
Yeah, well, that was
No,
just,
no, this Cumberland Farms, I believe, was the early 80s.
that was like DEP number 6 or something. It was like one of the first notice of intents ever issued in the state. Yeah, it was very, very early. Yes, I think that rumor may be a true rumor, yes. Yes, I think, yes.
Because you can see the Cumberland is surrounded with.
Of course it is, of course it is, of course it is. Yeah, there's cattails all around it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, here, all this is the wetland.
It's all
The line, even the same.
Yeah, everything in here. When we did the project up there, everything is impacted.
Well, thanks for coming in, everybody.
You want these-
Frank,
you want these back?
Materia, thank you.
No, if you want, we can leave, and even I will email you get PDF.
Sure,
Yeah,
right.
So the whole thing is, first, this is our first contact, so not very.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So hopefully this can move forward quickly and get this together. So-
Also, aren't there options where when you can't actually like fix a wetland or don't have wetland to fix, you can put money into a fund for us to do a wetland restoration project on our own?
Yeah, you could do an off-site, you could do an off-site restoration.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your property, it can go
Right,
towards
that's
like
right.
one of our properties.
Right, the state likes people to bank, you do restoration banking. People like to
Yeah.
do that, rather than do these little tiny projects which don't succeed. If you bank it into a big project, has a higher probability of succeeding.
Yeah.
So that's the new philosophy of DEP.
it'd be nice if they incorporated that into the regs, because, Army Corps works all throughout New England, some states do that.
Oh, yes.
In the regs, Massachusetts is behind the times. If they did that for comp storage, we'd be.
Oh, yeah, comp storage, you can't do it,
Yeah, I
but you
don't
can
know
do it
about
on,
storage, but
yeah, you can't do it
here's
on
the
comp
wetland
storage.
one.
No, right,
Yeah.
Yep.
thank you.
Okay, well, thanks again for coming in. Nice to meet you both. Bob, I've seen
Good
you
luck on your
before, we've been
project.
together again. Ms. Fran, good to meet you. Thank you so much. Robert, good to see you.
Pleasure.
All the best.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, we really need your help.
Nice.
Okay, so we're all set on our site visit for Saturday, everybody?
Yep.
8:30.
Mandy, you mind sending out a little reminder on Friday? Sure. Please, thank you. Any other business?
I would like to address the benefit stuff. It can be off the record. You won't, but I need to set some things straight because there's a lot of
Yeah, let's close the
information.
hearing. Let's close the
Okay.
hearing. Make a motion to end the public, close
Close the meeting.
conservation hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.